Hi folks, welcome to Coffee and Colossians, or should I say ginger beer and Colossians, because I couldn't do coffee. It's 34 degrees, it's very hot, and oh goodness me, we're getting on the news already. I hate the way these things are reported, because it's like we're all going to burn, and we are expecting a very hot summer. This is very hot for this time of year, though apparently it's going to cool down in a couple of days. We're expecting a very hot and a very dry summer, and it's the El Nino effect, not El Nino, which means we're probably going to get a lot of bushfires and stuff. But we trust in the Lord to protect us and keep us. We're not going to spend time worrying about that. We are in Colossians chapter 4, and we are at verse 15. Give my greetings to the brothers and sisters at Laodicea, and to Nympha and the church in her house. Now, we'll say more about Laodicea tomorrow, but let's say something about Nympha. Now, first of all, we don't really know if it's Nymphas or Nympha. There are manuscript variants. It is more likely that it is Nympha, Nymphas being a male name, Nympha being a female name. And in general, in most modern versions, it's translated Nympha. Who was she? We don't know much, but you can gather this. First of all, she's a wealthy woman. She has her own house, the church that meets in her house. She's clearly devout, and she's clearly generous. She shares. The Bible doesn't have anything against people being wealthy, but it's what we do with our wealth, and especially how we use our homes. So the Bible mentions Mary in Jerusalem, Priscilla and Aquila in Ephesus, Philemon in Colossae, Lydia in Philippi, Gaius in Corinth, Phoebe in Cenchrea, as being homes where the church met. We sometimes talk about house fellowships. We've made this enormous mistake, of course, of thinking of a specially constructed church building as being the church. Now again, I don't think there's anything wrong with specially constructed church buildings. In fact, they can be incredibly useful. But they are not the church. Of course, the people is the church. You notice what it says, the church in her house. The house is not the church, the building is not the church, but it's the people of God who meet in her house. I think it's possible that with the way society is going at the moment, we are going to have more and more churches that meet in homes. There's increasing pressure on publicly owned buildings not to hire out. I was speaking to somebody today who's in a church where the local government are very unhappy about leasing out their building to them. There will be companies and hotels who won't want Christians to meet. In some areas, it's becoming increasingly difficult to get permission to build or to have the money to build. And I think that the essence of the church is, if you like, the Christian home. I mean, I do think in terms of family worship and so on, but occasionally you'll get people who have bigger homes who can use them for gathering of a larger number of people. But that's quite a liberating thing, isn't it? It's also possible we can talk about house groups or home churches in the sense of smaller groups within the fellowship. And I think that's probably a good way to go as well. I think having groups where you have an elder and a deacon and you have a variety of ages. I'm not 100% convinced about having groups that are just one gender, or groups that are just one age, or groups that are just one race. I'm not sure that's particularly helpful. But some of you may disagree with that. However, isn't it wonderful that in a patriarchal society, Paul names so many women who are in the church and commends them. And here he is commending Nympha and the church that meets in her house, the brothers and sisters in Laodicea, and to Nympha and the church in our house. As I say, tomorrow we'll come on to the Laodiceans. I need to go inside because it's just too hot for me, and I'm thankful to the Lord for air conditioning. But even thinking about this apartment that we're leaving, we have a church that meets here, our Bible study on a Sunday afternoon. I think it's the church that meets at our house. Maybe we need to think about that a lot more. All right, God bless you, and see you tomorrow. This is Tuesday, so see you on Wednesday. Bye.